And we are live in full effect. This is Oktane Minutes Podcast, brought to you by the White Tiger Wars. Like, share, and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Like, share, and subscribe. We've got new wonderful podcasts coming up. Episodes pre-done in the can. This, you will probably see it live if you catch it live. And you will also, because I try to keep it super exclusive, I'll probably upload it on TikTok. You know, if I can keep it under a minute and have it broken down into many things. I like this effect too. But the song we are going to be listening today is Ready Your Weapon, featuring KGB, DJ K-Born from Chicago. He is good friend and collaborator of my brother Apreme, aka Allah Born Supreme. And yeah, man, K-Born, my brother, we gonna do some more music, man. Bro, you dope on the mic. You dope. And I don't think maybe I say it enough to you, but yes, me to you. You are dope on the mic. What are we talking about today? Of course, the album is a harrowing tale of gangsterism. It's a mobster from the 19 something or another, just living a life of a gangster on his rise to power and eventual downfall and escape out of the United States. Kicking off my shoes for this. But, yeah, man, we're looking at the new America being built. Apparently there's a golden age coming in America, right? A golden age that some people are excited about. A lot of things are being exposed. U.S. aid is falling. You know what I mean? And it's almost like, I know I've talked about it and I didn't cover it, but covered it. But I was talking about one hand, it could be that they're taking money. But somebody's stealing money. The flight patterns of monarch butterflies in Guatemala, or the gas emissions of cows in Montana. Somebody's pocketing that money. I think that's a lot of cover up. I think there's a lot of clandestine, spooky kabuki operations going on around the world that America need not involve itself in, and the intelligence community is over there trying to overreach and expand its sphere of influence, just like they talked about Putin in the sphere of influence. At the same time, I've noticed a lot of things that I also didn't quite get. So we're still witnessing an openly hot war between Ukraine and Russia, right? And the one thing I've always heard was Zelensky was the bad guy. How is Zelensky the bad guy? I have to critically think. Is it because they said Ukraine had a lot of far right people, and Zelensky himself was a Jewish man with the Azov battalion? Are they saying, yeah, it's a country that does have a lot of weird right-wing extremist things. So does Russia. I haven't yet to see Zelensky, murder any political opposition. Putin has definitely it's an open secret that a lot of people that go against him have been had their TV turned off, unalived. They've been deaded. I've seen maybe, they didn't want Zelensky joining NATO, but why should the Ukraine be the buffer state for Western Europe, or for Russia through Western Europe? Who wants to be a buffer state? Why does he have to be that guy? Because he's right next up close, But I think, Zelensky got lucky and found well, not luck, I guess you'd call it luck, but, there's minerals in Donbass. Is it really because Russia wants to extract the minerals from Donbass? And the United States got to it first. Or the United States been wanting to get that mineral deposit. And of course, now they're going to have an exchange. Because Donald Trump is about making business deals. And speaking of him, people said they wanted a businessman, but then they don't like the man doing business. I was like, bro, trust me, Donald Trump is not the worst businessman, or not the most ruthless businessman. He's probably quite generous. I mean, yeah, I heard he operates cheaply, and he puts cheap shit in he put it in his building and all that. Everybody knows that, but I mean, y'all, the United States is, y'all ain't seen a guy like Jack Welch. Jack Welch cutting the bottom performing 10% every year, and keeping and promoting the top 10% performers of his company, and everybody else either has to float or excel. And of course, if you float long enough, you're going to be at the bottom 10, and eventually, snip, snip, buddy, you're out of there. But yeah, this is what you get when you have a businessman. Yeah, he's going to look and take an audit of everything, and try to cut the purse strings of a lot of things that are draining a company dry. When I was booking and wrestling, that was one of my main things that I did, man. Like, I tried to save promoters money by trying to find talent that it's sometimes, okay, just like in wrestling, like I didn't need the greatest talent in the world. I knew everybody's skill set. I knew how to extract the best out of the skill set. It's a Paul Heyman formula. Extinguish the weakness, exalt the strengths. Some guys didn't have a lot of strengths, right? So you had to utilize them in various ways, So some guys were okay, but you don't necessarily. It's good to have great talent, but also at the same time, I don't necessarily need great talent. I needed cooperative talent that will operate, because I can play Moneyball. I can get guys who are used to getting bullshit pay, and I don't want to give guys bullshit pay, but at the same time, I was not the promoter. I was only booking. Had I promote, I pay guys good because I want top level talent, but I know how to utilize talent that didn't have great notoriety, and push them to the maximize what they do to create something. And also, I felt that one of my strong suits was taking people and repurposing them and making them into things that were stronger, because I saw different things in people in talent that I can be in more creative ways, different creative ways. But neither here nor there. That's what we're getting at. You have a lot of people who didn't have talent, that was just kind of living on hind teat and reaping the benefits of America, and a lot of things are being drained dry. Now, at the same time, we can go into reparations, right? You have a bunch of people that say, oh yeah, black people don't want to work. It's a lie. No, we want to work. It's money owed to our family. But you had all this money to fight these wars, right? You had all these money to give other countries missiles for nothing. You had money to give cash credit incentives to people who came to this country illegally. There's a lot of money for the budget for everybody outside of us who were native to this land. Yeah, there is a payoff, or I say there is a trade-off. And I would be down with that. 40 acres and a mule, and I'd be like, yeah, we'll give you 40 acres, but can you, and a friend of mine said, yeah, it does sound like sharecropping, but you got to flesh a lot of things out. But see, they subsidize farmers anyway. If people go back to farming, And you say, okay, yeah, you got all this land to utilize. And not just farming, but what if you had, whoever got whatever land, you might have got iron ore, or you might have a mine, iron ore, or farming, or oil, or diamonds, or I'm just saying, some type of commodity. And you don't necessarily got to farm it, but some people will be like, well, if you own it, we will give you a check, stipend every year for some level of rights to that. You can make money, but we want to make money to offset the cost in the States to bring everything's prices down, right? Or build a surplus of stuff so we don't have to necessarily look at all these other countries who's trying to cut the lights out off of us. Or, because a lot of times they were paying farmers to destroy crops and destroy livestock. Then they turn around and they were buying cattle from Brazil and Venezuela and, wherever. And, who knows what their standards are? They, you could say, oh, yeah, well, they have healthier standard animals. But, in a lot of these countries, and not to bash them, a lot of these countries, they'll cut corners, you know what I'm saying? You don't know you're getting these chickens from Nicaragua that are filled with steroids and what have you, all sorts of wild shit. And then you wonder why your 4-year-olds got titties, and they're not exalting. It's expensive to farm. I had a friend who said that cattle literally cost him, like, he said he didn't have a lot of cows, but he had, at one time, he had a good amount. And I think he said it cost him like $2,000 per animal. Quote me on that, not quote me on that. Anybody who's a farmer who hears this can correct me. But he said it cost him a lot of money. He ended up switching to sheep and goats because they yield much more than just being meat, With all the medical shit and this, that, and the third. You can also make sweaters off of them, get their hair and whatever. I hope he's doing well. Anyway. But, yeah, I mean, I think that, we live in a world where I don't think anybody in America, per se, is socialist and or communist. There are people who say that certain things are communist. I just think that if you strip down, if you get rid of a lot of the ideologies on both sides, I think everybody's just a varying degree of capitalist. Because I don't believe any type of level of socialism does save the world. Capitalism does. Because if something means enough for you and has enough value to you, you will put up money to preserve it. It's the argument of tragedy of the commons, right? You can say that everybody goes free, but you will not be policed and you'll be on your honor to fish in a lake, but it's on your duty to replenish that lake. But some people won't do it. But if you charge them money, you can privatize the lake and create the rule as is. Be like, listen, you paid this money, now you're going to follow the rules, or else you're not going to pay your money. You can start your own lake. So I don't think people are socialists. They say they are, but I think more people are just right to work or right to make money, which I'm totally fine with. But money makes the world go around. And like even in like the civil rights era, a lot of the times there were street guys, gang members who were taking care of these civil rights members. When they were doing them little soft-ass marches and not really busting guns in places where they were mistreated and sometimes in violent matters. A lot of times they were gang members the street guys, the gamblers, the hustlers, the bootleggers were the ones looking out and facilitating a lot of things, feeding them and housing them and clothing them. The gamblers, the hustlers, the bootleggers did that. The highwaymen did that. And there's an interesting secret history in America. A very interesting secret history in America. So this is maybe episode 45. Episode 50, what am I going to do? I might do commemorative songs. At first I was going to be like, make my Bandcamp free. I was going to make my Bandcamp free for 24 hours and you guys grab whatever you want it if you have it. But I'll probably just, I'll probably do something of the lines of maybe, I'll probably put an EP up. I'm probably make a free EP or whatever. But aside that, you know what? When we're going along, I want to talk about some other things too. But yeah, I'll probably do an EP. But yeah, no. Also look out May 8th. We are dropping the World Leaders debut album. Me and the Grand Hova, Olympus Has Fallen. We're steady getting faster on the timeline for the A-Prime and Oktane, Unleash the Kraken. That's album number 3. I've got a new album down the works called Sun Empire. It was going to be called Earth Alchemist, but I changed the name of the album because I just was not feeling the cover, and I just said I need to do something different. I originally my secondary original idea, I'm about to sneeze, was but I didn't. But was going to be like something more on the lines of Pen and Pixel, Old School Master P, because without giving up a lot of my location to the general public, I am a Southern rapper to a degree. My sound is not Southern, but I am very much an MC from the South. But I just have a lot of East Coast influences and lo-fi influences, whatever have you. Boom bap. Boom bap is more my thing just because I'm an older gent. And I just didn't have the appeal of I liked a lot of Southern rap, but it was not like really it wasn't my thing as far as like what I really was getting into rap wise. I didn't want to be a rap fan that just liked rap music with cussing in it. I like, I picked up on a lot of the black consciousness and all that stuff, and you got that with Southern rap, but you also got that more so with a lot of East Coast hip hop. You have the 5%er influence that basically was in the inception of hip hop, and then some of the other school of thoughts that followed soon hereafter. So a lot of that, I was telling my buddy today, and I listen to a lot of West Coast because I like the beats, I like the funk. You know what I'm saying? I grew up, my dad being a James Brown fan, and I grew up, my dad listening to Parliament Funkadelic. So as a little kid, that's what I heard growing up, was Atomic Dog and This Is a Man's World and all of that. But I didn't want to keep y'all long. I like this effect. It's black and white. It's very eloquent. So shout out to my Saba Son family. I was going to shout y'all out individually, but I'll probably do that next time. But yeah, man, I just wanted to drop in and shoot the shiz with you guys and talk shop. So yeah, we are DJ KGB on the feature, song produced by me. Ready your weapons, and yeah, and if it ain't got the tiger on the disc, it ain't official. The White Tiger Wars is well on the way. We're still covering a couple more weeks, but yeah. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.